It is the day after, isn't it? The third and final ODI between England and India ended yesterday. It was almost today, early morning, and was a wonderful game. But the series ended in England's favor. But the multi-format series, remember, is almost alive yet. 6-4 is the equation, which is in England's favor. Welcome back to the Outside View Live. We'll talk about the three matches that went by and what each team kind of learned from it on this show. And I am glad to have Vanitha VR as well as Ananya Upendran with me. Let's start by talking about India's batting. Vanitha, there's some problem that we saw in the first two games, but that similar problem seemed to emerge before Mithali Raj kind of stood tall and took India to victory in the final ODI. So what do you think ails India's batting?
See, currently we saw the skipper also telling that, we're trying to look for certain combinations before we actually get going into the next series. And that was clearly seen, especially after the second one days, they made sure that, that players are getting enough time before they've been rotated or changed. And like Mithali said, in the press conference, that they're clearly looking for number 3 batter, and it's not just one batter that they have in mind. They have a couple more, probably in the coming series we'll see them being tried out. And that's something which the team management is also cleared for us, that what is that they are looking at. And when you're looking at certain combination, things do get upset. There'll be unsettled things, and that's exactly what we saw in the series. That number 3 batter. When you're in search of your number 3 batter, there are times where the things just unsettle, and that's exactly what we saw in the series throughout. And before we all jump in, mind you, at the start of the series, what Mithali said exactly is what she made sure and ensured that she did, that, we seniors are there and we'll, experienced players are there. So we will look into the batting and let the youngster play freely. And that's exactly what the Indian team did this time. Overall, if you look at it, the batting aspect, I think everybody got a free and nobody was asked to cut down or nobody was asked to, curtail their shots. Everybody was allowed to bat the way they are. And I think a lot of credit goes to the team management and the team India, that they have a plan in mind. They are going with a clear vision in terms of how they need to build the team forward for the World Cup.
Indeed, Ananya, it's always, it's not a simple solution as to what ails them, but do you think, about personnel, or is it about the approach that they are having?
See, I think it's a bit of both, and when you're looking this from the you're looking at this from the outside. I think as Indians, we're generally very impatient with a lot of things, and you do need to realize that these performances need to be looked at with a certain context. This is an Indian team that is playing after a very, very long time, and I'm not just using this as an excuse. I am saying they have not had the facilities to train as much as they normally would, even in India. So I think a lot of these things just need to be taken with, in a certain context. The management has changed, the coach has changed, so that the environment within the side changes. It means your roles maybe slightly get altered. There is so much that players then have to get used to. There's probably a feeling that I have to, play for my place. I have to make sure that I perform enough to keep my place in the side. So there are lots of things that kind of compound this, and whether or not you're given a free hand, you as professionals, you do put a bit of pressure on yourself. You do want to go out there and score runs, and that sometimes when environments change, it kind of compounds. So I think from the outside looking in, we're all very impatient. We all want people to be culled left, right, and center. And, someone said this yesterday to me, that you're always going to be a better player when you're sitting on the bench, because you're not putting yourself in the firing line. And that's exactly, so Priya Punia is probably India's best player at the moment, because she's not in the firing line. So I think we just need to be a little more patient. We have, the players are there because they have the ability. They've been selected because the selectors have seen something. They've shown, the ability to score runs in domestic cricket. So it's just a bit of, I think we need to be a little more patient with them. And, the more they play continuously, the better they will get. I think it's just about sticking with personnel for a little while.
Yeah, coaches change, management changes. You've mentioned this, Ananya. But the one thing that has been constant in India's batting lineup, and also a player who kind of played every time and gotten better, is Mithali Raj, the skipper, leading from the front. Vanitha, let's kind of start with you. I'll just kind of give you an extempore topic, probably Mithali Raj, and your thoughts on her in the series.
I mean, well, how do I explain this? I'm seriously falling short of words to actually put it across how, incredible the player that she is, and what she's achieved in this series is something, which will be remembered for a long, long time. And see, like Ananya said, lack of facility, lack of training centers didn't stop Mithali from actually going out there and performing. That's where I think experience counts, to be able to pull out when at the right time, and that's exactly what she's shown. And look, what for me was the standard was the way how she led from the front. It's not just about being the captain there. You need to perform, and when you perform is the time where you can actually ask your teammates also to say, hey, look, we are expecting you to to get some runs. And that's what for me leadership is, when you got to lead from the front, not by your aggression or not by leading the path, but by performing. And that's for me is a standout in the series. And clearly we're seeing more of vintage Mithali. That's the tag, which is hashtag, which is running as of now, and no doubt about that. She was fabulous throughout. The way she used her feet as in the last game is something, all of us were like, wow, what are we witnessing here? I mean, she was in a great flow, and that flow comes obviously when you have runs under your belt, and that she's always had. But for somebody to come out there and just go there, and she didn't have, mind you, she didn't have a great test series. The start of the test series wasn't that great. The way how she batted, it looked like Mithali is rusty, Mithali is struggling. A lot of them had this thought that, okay, is this done? Mithali is just done. But then she just came, and the way how she batted out there, I think all of us are like, we need to change the perception towards how we thought about her in the first test series.
Indeed, three ODI, she scored over 200 runs, 206, and that average of 103, and that strike rate also in excess of 70. Ananya, these are numbers that you don't kind of get every other series. And you look at that margin. The next best player in the series from both sides is Natalie Seaver, and she scored 142 runs. So more than 60 runs is the gap between the first and second. I don't know. I mean, do you have an answer as to how Mithali Raj, even after so many years in international cricket, continues to do so well?
I mean, I'm not sure but what she has constantly said is just that competitive streak. She is a very, very competitive person. She's not outwardly aggressive. She doesn't outwardly show emotion, but she is very, very competitive. And she said that before, that I don't want to ever get out wherever I play, whether you're bowling to me in the nets or in a game, even on the streets. If I'm playing gully cricket, I don't want to get out. And I think that competitiveness just kind of keeps driving her forward. She is someone, I mean, we talk about her playing 22 years of cricket. I think, yes, the longevity is amazing, but I think the fact that she's kept herself relevant as a batter in a game that is constantly changing is just mind-blowing. And yes, that she has copped a fair bit of criticism through the series and even before this. And I think the way she came back yesterday was wonderful. But, on the other hand, when you play for that long, you are going to cop criticism. And she has very, very thick skin. She's always come out performed not to silence the detractors, but just because she is such a competitive person. And she said that yesterday, that I always just wanted to make sure that my team continues to win. And I'm sure that she will, continue to do that till the World Cup. But, on the flip side, from as an outsider looking in, you always feel like, yes, while she's there, India is in a great position, but it also feels like the other batters, the younger batters, are somewhat hiding behind her. And I remember Mark Robinson said this about Charlotte Edwards before she retired in 2016, that said, the likes of Beaumont, the likes of Knight, the likes of Wyatt are not stepping up because they're hiding behind someone as big as Charlotte Edwards. And she's really carrying the team on her own. I feel like it's the same with Mithali Raj. Yes, Smriti Mandhana is lifting her game, but the larger chunk of that batting lineup is largely hiding behind her, and it's a problem that India will need to address going into that World Cup.
Indeed, she's copped a fair bit of criticism, as you said, and it's almost like if you want to enjoy the rainbow, you probably have to live through the rains as well. But let's look at England a bit now. There was no Daniel White. That was an opportunity for someone like Lauren Winfield Hill to cement her pace at the opening spot. Do you think that she's done it, Ananya? Because we've seen that she's not been consistent. 36 yesterday, had an opportunity to kind of go big, couldn't really kind of cross that final hurdle. You think she's cemented the spot, or there's a hope for Wyatt to get back in?
Well, considering Wyatt's form in the RHF in the Charlotte Edwards Cup now, she has the runs under her belt, so you'd think that she'd continue to be in the conversations for this ODI team. But I think Winfield Hill, while she didn't get that big score that she would have wanted, batted very well at the start of all her innings. She got off to decent starts, but just wasn't able to kick on. So I think she's done enough to keep her place at the top of the order, at least for the next series, but she'll need to kick on. It will, I don't think 30s and 40s will continue to cut it for Lisa Keightley. And, she will have to kick on, but I think she's done enough to kind of keep her place at the top of the order.
Vanitha, do you kind of see that opening combination giving sleepless nights to the bowlers, or you'd probably have Wyatt and Beaumont who kind of are more dangerous? What's your thought on the English opening order?
I am personally, if you ask me, I'm very impressed with Winfield, because the kind of range of shots that she has is fabulous, because not many cricketers, have that hitting arc and the range that she has. So that's an added advantage. And look, White had it for a long time, and probably it's time for Winfield also to, just to try out there. And also the skipper mentioned it that, the places are still up for open, they've not sealed it for their World Cup. So it's look, they're also trying out their combination, that she may also be the third opener going forward for the World Cup, and when White comes in. So they're also trying the combination as much as possible. But if you ask me personally, I'm very happy with the way how these two bat together, because it's very threatening, it's very dangerous. And if you're on the other side bowling to them, you really don't know where to actually hit the areas for them, because they're so good at it. One is so good at the loft, one is so good at driving the ball along, and picking the right length and going over top. So, as a bowling unit, it always gets very difficult for you to actually come and bowl out to them. It's just that, it's just matter of time, one big innings, and then, you'll see you back amongst the runs.
Indeed, Winfield Hill and Tammy Beaumont, will they continue to open for England in ODIs? We'll probably have a better answer in September when New Zealand come calling. 3 T20s and 5 ODIs to be played then. But let's come back to India a bit more, because we saw against South Africa, there was Monica Patel, the left-arm seamer, along with Jhulan Goswami. There was Mansi Joshi in the mix as well. But when they kind of announced their squad to England, there was Shikha Pandey who came back. There was Jhulan Goswami and Pooja Vastrakar, Arundhati Reddy, but no Monica Patel, no Mansi Joshi. Ananya, what's happening with seamers and Indian team? Because we've seen that, as we've spoken about it as well in the past, that they don't seem to have belief in the seam bowling department. So your thoughts on that, especially looking ahead to the World Cup next year?
Again, I think it's a thing that I mentioned with the batters. I think sometimes it's about patience. With people like Monica Patel, with Pooja Vastrakar, you can't expect them to come in and, rip through the top orders of the opposition. So I think if you've picked them, then you stick with them for a bit. It's only fair to give them an opportunity to bowl. I think one of my major issues with India over the last 10, maybe 8 to 10 years is the fact that they've constantly rotated their seamers, probably, haven't been consistent with who they've picked. Yes, Shikha Pandey has probably kind of been there for the last 6-7 years, but again, she's been chopped and changed. Before that, you had Shubhlakshmi Sharma, you had Niranjana Nagarajan. You see the same thing with Mansi Joshi, kind of in and out of the side. So as a player, if you're not sure of whether you're going to be there or not, you're constantly going to be bowling with an axe over your head. That if I concede a boundary, I'm going to be taken out of the attack. If I have a bad day, I'm going to be dropped. So I think that's one of the issues. There is plenty of talent in India as far as seam bowling goes. It's just about consistency with whom you pick and who you stick with. And on the flip side, when I think the other day Shikha Pandey Pooja Vastrakar got hit for 3 boundaries and her over got taken out of the attack, I completely understand that. But on the flip side, in the second ODI, Poonam Yadav gave 63 runs. We're okay with the spinner conceding 6 runs and over. We're not okay with the seamer going at 4 or 5 runs and over. So I think we need to strike a balance there, because that's the only way you're going to groom these girls. You can't keep comparing them to someone like Jhulan Goswami and say, hey, these are the standards you have to reach, because that's impossible. It's like saying that Jemima Rodriguez should have the consistency of Mithali Raj. It's not going to happen overnight. So, it's about developing them. There is plenty of talent. And I think, again, it comes down to being patient with these players.
Vanitha, is it lack of seamers in the domestic circuit, or is it lack of belief in the seamers who are in the circuit?
If you ask me, it's combination of both. We don't have quality seamers in the domestic circuit, to be honest. Even though we have somebody who swings the ball at 80, 90, you cannot survive with that pace at international level. It's not possible. Let's get very realistic into this. And with the whatever source that we have, it's just that, it's just matter of getting them into rhythm. Fast bowling is all about rhythm. And if a fast bowler is not finding the rhythm, no matter how good you are, you'll not be able to pitch in the right areas. You'll not be able to bowl in the right areas. And that's exactly what is happening. And see, look, somebody like Ashika Pandey, we expect her to be pitching at, in a consistent area. And say, if she's unable to do it consistently, how can we expect that from a newcomer or somebody who's so unsettled in the team? It's so unfair for us. And see, you got to lead your pace attack, and Pacers has to, I feel apart from Julian, I don't think so anybody actually takes that responsibility of leading the pace attack, leading the pace pack. Somehow it gets to me that, Pacers are just going through the motion, and I don't see them really trying out anything or trying hard or showing that intensity. Listen, you have to send signals to your captain. It's not just one day team. I've been seeing this in T20s also, that there's absolutely no faith in Pacers. That's simply because of your body language, also how you portray yourself on the field. If you appear confident, and I'm sure the captain would any day give the ball to you. It's not about going for runs at that particular over. It's about how you bounce back after that. It's about your body language also. Like you go through a bad over, and the way how you walk back also makes a difference, because your body language at the end of the day is how somebody standing from outside will be able to see how you're going to go about it. And that's exactly what I feel we lack, because I've seen our shoulders drooping. The first thing what I see is our shoulders down. That's not what we expect from fast bowlers. It's all right. I'm not comparing this, but that's the attitude what we've seen between England players and Indian players. That's every time Brunt goes for a boundary, I've never seen a shoulder, I've never seen her shoulders down, not even a single occasion. No matter what, it's always chest up, chin held high, and she believes in herself more than anybody. I don't know whether the captain will continue. Even she's been taken off the attack so many times, but it's not about her. It's about self-confidence also. It's something to do with from within rather than the atmosphere, because if you have an attitude like that, I'm sure the captain will also start trusting you all over again. It's about these factors also contributing and attributing to the player that you are going to become. And I somehow feel that our paces are very soft. I'm not reflecting on their off field, but on the field also, I've never seen a pacer walking with an aggression unless they just get a wicket. We saw Shikha Pandey celebrating yesterday. That is the only aggression we get to see from a fast bowler after taking the wicket. But look, if I was in the thick of things, I would definitely want my fast bowlers to just walk up, chest up, and just put in that attitude. I've seen a lot of bowlers all over the world. We've seen top class bowlers do that. You see a Megan Shoot also. No matter what, she's like, okay, smile and just walk around, because if you have faith in your skill, if you have confidence in yourself, boundaries are not going to make a difference. But with our Indians, I feel that, okay, every time they go for runs, first thing they do is they just put their head down and walk. And, as a captain, you don't feel like going in for the next over, because the bowler also doesn't trust. And that sends out wrong signals. And that probably, I feel, there is a work to be done. It's not just these aspects, but I'm talking about these are the things, small little things can make a difference in terms of how you actually lead a fast bowling or pace attack out there on the on the ground. And hopefully we'll see something coming up with the way how they're playing Fearless brand, what they're using now, tags. I hope that along with that fearlessness, they will also develop this attitude of actually keeping their chest up and chin held high and say, okay, listen, bring it on. I'm okay with it. You're going to hit me for six boundaries. I'm okay with that, because if you have the ability and self-belief in yourself, you will come back strong. And that's what we are looking at. Back then in domestic cricket also, a lot of youngsters, we coach them this way that, okay, listen, it's all right, even if you go for boundary, because that's the attitude where we need to start from, rather than just saying, okay, we need to start from the international circuit. I think we need to do a lot of work back here, and with people's mindset also about, see, okay, pacers are not good enough, but they are good. It's just that they themselves need to start believing first, rather than others believing in themselves, is what I feel.
Again, I'm going to jump in here. Completely agree with everything she says about, body language and things like that. That's definitely something that needs to improve. But from my experiences and from what I have seen, the thing you hear a lot in domestic cricket is that, teams don't go back to their seamers. It's very, very rare that after the first spell, they go back to their seamers. So you're not allowing them to develop skills, or even if they develop skills in nets, you're not allowing them to then try them out in a game. And when are you going to have confidence in those skills is when you try them out in a game. So on the flip side, and I've heard this a lot, that we don't want seamers to bowl in the depth because pace hai to nikal jayega, edge se nikal jayega. Which is, so you're essentially encouraging these girls to slow down so that nahi niklega. That's essentially what you're, telling your seamers to do. And I completely agree that we don't have like a Thela Valamik or someone who comes charging in and just kind of releases it at 120. You don't have anyone, jumping around at domestic level. But that's also because you don't encourage them to leak those runs. You're not saying it's okay, go for runs, just come in and bowl as fast as you want. So it's a lot of things that need to combine to develop these things. Yes, body language, I think, seamers need to be a lot, stronger and more aggressive and Brunt-esque, yes, but you also need to encourage that. So it's a lot of things that need to combine if we want to become a real threat at international level, I think.
Also, I'd like to add something here. See, we've seen pacers completing the overs. We've seen pacers bowling 10 overs at a stretch. But again, you look back to the paces that whoever is doing it. It's again, it all comes down to the ones who are confident with their skill, and that happens when you start believing in yourself. And for me, completely fast bowling, I'll repeat this again. It's about rhythm. You are not in the rhythm, no matter what. You're not going to get it there. So for that rhythm, I think all these are the aspects what one needs to work on. See, like she mentioned, even in domestic cricket, but I have seen. With a lousy body language, girls walking back. As a captain, definitely you're always on fire to actually finish those overs quickly. And look, these are the simple, small little things will make huge difference over time. Because you are becoming the person you're trying to be at a certain level, and these are the qualities I feel one has to start developing. And clearly it will make a huge difference, because we have seen how Julian walking back to a run up every time she bowls. She walks back with a lot of pride, she walks back with a lot of aggression, thinking about how she needs to come in and run in with the next ball. When we're talking about how we can get another pacer, why don't we actually start developing the pacer that Julian has? I mean, I'm talking about the qualities, I'm talking about the work ethics, I'm talking about how she's got consistent over time. I mean, she's not got it overnight. She's worked hard for it, and these are the combination what has got her the pacer that she is. I think we need to have or start developing that right from the younger age, and that's how we can actually develop one up there in the Indian team.
A key point she's made, Jhulan Goswami has not gotten her results overnight. She's not dropped from the sky. So we should not be expecting the next Jhulan Goswami to drop from the sky. Yeah. This person needs to be developed. So
yeah, fair point. But tell you what, if you're a young seamer watching this, remember there's a batter in the show who's saying that bowlers need to develop aggression. You need to kind of, so do remember that, because coming from a batter, it does mean a lot. But let's
I
kind
have
of
no.
again.
I used to bowl
Yeah.
medium pace. I used to bowl medium paces. Not that I wasn't. When I used to bowl, it was for me. It was just aggression, and that's the reason why I'm talking. Why and on terms of what a quality pacer needs. It's not just about the fact that I spoke about rhythm is because I bowled quite a lot in my younger days. Before the injury took over, it is simply because I wasn't monitored. That's what I was trying to tell, that fast bowling is all about rhythm, and once you are in the rhythm, the captain will just throw the ball at you. Because I have seen, when I was playing, I'll just give this an example. When I was playing, Karuna Jain was leading at that time, and Mamta Mebin was in that squad. She didn't trust anybody. She just threw the ball at Mamta and say, "Okay, listen, I want you to come and bowl." And she picked up 5 wickets for her. She said she was at, fag end of her career. She said, "Enough is enough. I'm not going to play." But we literally forced her to guide, asked her to play the season and guide the, youngsters. But trust me, I clearly remember Karuna Jain throwing the new ball at Mamta and saying, "Listen, Mamta, I want you to do the job." It's not like we don't have captains who don't trust, but when it's see, it's again all about your body language. And if you're confident, if you're appearing confident, and the captain trusts in you, why is that captain trusting you? Because you want to do it. That's the attitude you got to have, and that's clearly something with what I want the younger generation to start developing now.
Yeah, Mamta Maben is a very, very confident lady. We've had interactions with her, so I kind of relate to that. But let's talk about England. And I know when I am talking about the bowling, when I say when it rains, it pours, and not the weather, because we are talking about seam bowling, and there you see Catherine Brunt and Anya Upendran. There's Natalie Siver as well, and there's Kate Cross, Natasha Farren, Freya Davis, you name it, they have it. But Kate Cross has been that third seamer, it seems so, Ananya, because she not just started the first ODI, but she played all three and returned with success, 7 wickets in the series. So has she nailed that number 3 seamer spot, you think, for England?
I hope so. I mean, she's bowled for a long time without success. She's had, she's been in and out of that squad. Hasn't tasted the success that she deserves. So I hope she's kind of nailed it down. I think she was easily England's best seamer through the series, and even in that test match, I said it as well, that she didn't get the rewards that she deserved, but she bowled the best of all 4 seamers. So I hope she's nailed it down. I think she's gotten just rewards. I think a lot of people were very, very happy for her to have gotten the fifer, because she's gone through so much. It's been a real roller coaster through her career. So it's great to see her in the wickets. And I think what she did was bowl very, very intelligently, just her change ups. And the thing that Vanitha said, that she was confident enough to try those things in a game, or use those variations in a game. You could see her bowl her cutters, her wobble seam deliveries, throw in the bouncer. So she has a lot of variation, and she's a great foil to the likes of Brunt and Trubsole, who are wonderful swing bowlers.
Right. Before winding up, let's talk about the World Cup point of view, because everything that's done in this current season is with a view of playing the World Cup, or seen from the prism of the World Cup next year. So, Vanitha, let's start with you. What is 1 or 2 positives you see that Indian team can take from this ODI series?
For me, definitely Rana. She's been outstanding. I think we've found the right kind of finisher who could just go out there and play that cameo. Initially when the series was about to begin, we thought it would be Pooja would would don that role, but completely it has turned out to be the other way, because the first 11 Pooja was part of it and Rana was not. So we were thinking that okay, they were, but I know for the fact that Indian team is looking at that finisher spot, and they tried out Pooja and that didn't certainly work, and I think Rana is the pick and find for this tournament. And secondly, Mithali Raj coming into the flow is another added advantage. Now it's sort of set now, and Shafali also opening the batting. It's almost set. It's just that 2 spot is what I feel. Indians are trying to settle down with the batting unit when it comes to batting. So if that gets going, nothing like it, I think we are capable of putting across good 260, 270, and be able to chase down 240, 250 with ease. And coming to bowling, I think bowling also looks set for me. I'm happy with the way the last 2 matches, the way they played with 11. I'm really happy with it, because see, look, as a captain, you have variety, you have options to go in there and somebody going there and giving you the 10 overs, like full quota of 10 overs. I think any day a captain would take it. She don't have to look around for players and throw the ball at, okay, who am I going to give that extra 2-3 overs to fill in? So luckily, that headache is not there for the captain. I think the kind of right combination we have, really, really happy with it. But look, I would love to have, another seamer in the team. But yeah, that's what I think that they are looking at, because the way how Dali said, we need another all-rounder is what I feel that they're looking at, a seam bowling all-rounder. That will make a huge difference, because, somebody bowling with the cross seam, in the mid overs will make huge difference, to stop or halt the flow of runs. I hope, India will be able to find that all-rounder that they're looking at in the form of seam bowler.
Ananya, your thoughts?
Well, she stole all the points, so I have nothing left to add, very honestly. I mean, I think she kind of nailed down everything. I think Rana was we re-found her. I think we didn't find her, but she's come back and she's done exceptionally well. So, I think everything she said, India have the raw material. It's just about kind of fixing those pieces together, figuring out where they fit. And hopefully over the next, 6 to 8 months, they're able to play more consistently, play more matches, and find a rhythm going into that World Cup. Because in 2017, I think from November 2016, they played consistent cricket, which is why they went into that tournament with a lot of rhythm. So hopefully the next 6 to 8 months are packed with cricket. And they're able to fit those pieces together properly.
I remember there's no Rajeshwari Gaikwad this series. So talking purely from ODI point of view, she's also a part of the squad, if you kind of take the larger context. So right, there you go. The ODI series, the 3 games are done and dusted. We'll now look forward to the T20Is that start on Friday, the 9th of July. Before that, on Thursday on 8th of July at 7 p.m. Indian time, we'll come on air on the Outside View Live, talk about and what's in store for the T20Is as well. 3 matches to go. And remember, it's going to be very exciting, because 6-4 is the series result at this point. England are leading. But those 3 games, India managed to win it. You never know what will happen. Do they have a chance? You probably think so, looking at the squad that they have. So lots left in this series, in this India store of England, and lots to go on the Outside View Live as well. Thanks, Vanitha, for joining us today. Thanks, Ananya. We'll catch you everyone on Thursday on this very show, the Outside View Live. Till then, take care.